All right, welcome. We're going to play with some variations on Utkatasana. In English, we often say chair pose, but Utkatasana is a squatting type posture in yoga. Conventionally, often we'll bring the arms up. We're going to work on some different variations in order to prepare our bodies to be even better at getting up and down from a chair, from the floor, in and out of a squat-like position. To be clear, this practice does not require you to be able to squat. So if you're going, I'm nowhere near squatting, perfect, you're in the right place. We're going to grab a chair for this practice. I have a folding chair because I have had to temporarily leave my office, and this is what I've got. But if you have a sturdier dining chair type chair, that might be even better. If you have it, go ahead and put a rug or a yoga mat under your chair so it doesn't slide around when you're working with it. You're going to also want a little tiny bit of wall that you can bring behind your body. And if you have it, a yoga strap and a block. If you don't have it, maybe a bathrobe tie or some similar type of belt, and something to stand in for the yoga block. Could be like a rectangular tissue box or a small Tupperware. Or for those of us who find something harder isn't that comfortable, or maybe it's just what you've got, maybe even a cushion folded in half or something like that. So what we're going to do to set this up is we're going to put that block or whatever you've got in between your legs, and then you're going to fasten this strap, and you're going to tighten it enough that it just kind of stays in place, okay? And we want this to be comfortable. So your mileage may vary, adjust as you need to, right? And depending on your body shape, you sometimes this is a little trickier to get it to work. Usually it's helpful just to try different kinds of objects. But if it's not working for you, it's not working for you. It's okay. Reach out if you want some personal guidance, or keep experimenting with what you have. The purpose of this is just to provide a little bit of awareness in terms of you being able to create your own stability. I'm going to stand at the wall with my feet maybe about a foot away from the wall to start out with. I'm going to have the backs of my hips and my upper back on the wall, and my head and shoulders may naturally fall back towards the wall, or they may naturally sit a little bit forward. So I'm not going to add any tension into my body to try to manage my head and shoulders here. You should be able to feel the block and the strap. They should stay in place, but you're not squeezing in or pressing out as you're doing these movements. The first thing we're going to do, just a little squat, a little chair pose. You're going to slide down the wall a little bit as you bend your knees, hips, and ankles, and then come back up. So first thing that's important is we're not moving in a range that causes any symptoms to flare up. So if you're feeling pain, make it smaller. If you're still feeling pain, then back off for now. Seek some personalized guidance as to what is happening here, right? Pain does not mean you're doing any damage, but it may mean that there's stuff going on in your movement that needs a little bit of personal attention, right? If you can find a small movement where you're not feeling pain, it feels pretty comfortable and easy, you're going to do that movement a few times. Pay attention to whether your legs are pressing in and out as you're coming up and down, as well as the pelvis wiggling side to side. Is one hip or the other coming away from the wall or shoulder, right? What else? Sometimes we like to flatten the low back into the wall or flare the ribs away from the wall as we're coming up and down. So everything here should be kind of on an imaginary elevator, just going up and down. Knees, hips, and ankles are bending in a coordinated way. Nothing is happening with pressing in or out, okay? And then find a place where you can hold. So if I asked you to hold here for a while, be where you're comfortable to hold. Might be a teeny tiny little mini squat here. While you're holding, now I'm going to ask you to squeeze in on the block and release. And as you're squeezing in, just pay attention to where's that squeeze coming from. Is it coming from up here? Or is it coming from down in the feet or the calves? And you find a squeeze in from the upper thighs, and can you hold that? As you hold and sustain that, what else happens? Let that go. Straighten. And come back down into that mini squat. As you're holding the mini squat this time, you're going to press the thighs out into the strap. Now, hopefully that strap is tight enough that when you press out, the thing between your legs doesn't drop. And you can press out a few times. And are you pressing out from up here, or are you pressing out from somewhere in your lower leg? Can you find the muscles up here that press the legs out? And then as you hold, what else wants to happen? Still breathing through all of this, right? Just noticing what you notice. Release the press out, straighten the legs. And then come a little bit away from the wall. We're going to take off the strap and the block and just leave these off to the side for now. I might take a moment here to just stand and notice, well, now what? How do things feel? Sometimes things feel different after you've done this kind of work, right? So letting any shifts happen. And then you might, just out of curiosity, come back to the wall. Come back into this little mini Utkatasana squat, right? And as we come down, what else happens, right? Now that you don't have the block and strap, does it feel pretty much the same? Or do you feel a little less sure of your movement? Is there maybe some wobble side to side? Does it feel less smooth, right? So some of this just tells you, hey, maybe it would be helpful to practice with that block and strap for a little while your body is learning this pattern of movement, right? Nothing wrong with it. So now we're going to work with the chair. Probably for me, it would be better if I had a chair that was a little bit higher up, but I also can squat, so I will be able to use this chair. The harder it is for you to squat, the more important it is to have a higher chair, and we do want that chair to be fairly stable. So the first thing we're going to do is just stand in front of that chair. I happen to have a wall here because sometimes it's nice to have a wall to reach out to as well. And I'm just going to sit down in the chair. And then I'm going to sit back up. And I'm going to see if I can pay attention to what my body does to make that happen. How much do I lean forward? Do I use my hands and arms? How am I getting myself up and down out of that chair? And then I'm going to come back up. And I'm going to see what happens if I really slow down the movement of sitting back. Thinking about my hips going back towards the back of the chair as I'm lowering myself down. And coming back up. And then really slowing that movement down, hips going back as I'm coming down into the chair, nice and slow. And then coming back up. For anyone who feels, wow, a little bit unsteady, maybe there's some drifting side to side through the knees, you might try that block again between your legs. You could always add the strap as well if you want to. But the block may be enough. We don't want to squeeze the block. We're just going to use it for a little extra awareness of where the thighs are as you're coming back and coming back up. And notice what that changes if you added a block in. Slow, lower. And coming back up. Nice. All right. You're going to place that block out to the side. And we're just going to turn to face the chair. And again, this would be a lovely place if my chair was a little higher. I could even hold on to the back of the chair, but I have what I have right now. And you're going to play a little bit with where you want your feet to be for this. You might have to make some adjustments as you go. We're going to face that chair. And we're going to find a little squat. Now, as you squat, we want things to feel comfortable. Some people will feel better, if they're more upright as they do this. Some people will feel better if they really send their hips back. So you can kind of play. But what we're looking for is knees coming forward to the chair. My chair is not square to my body. And come back up. Knees coming forward to that chair. And coming back up. If that feels pretty easy, you might move the chair further away or step back a little bit. And then knees coming forward to the chair. Heels stay down. And coming back up. Knees coming forward to the chair. And coming back up. And then just pay attention to what is happening through your body. Where is there a sensation? Can you adjust this movement so you're taking your knees forward Maybe hips are traveling back and you're feeling comfortable and at ease, right? There's no prize for going further and suffering as a result. So we're really looking for a sense of ease as you're moving in and out of this variation. Totally fine to use support, totally fine to work with yourself closer to the chair, okay? And we're just playing with how this movement feels. And then again, you're gonna come away from the chair and just stand. Notice what's changed. Take a little walk if you want to. Notice how it feels to walk. I hope you found this helpful. So these are foundational skills for getting up and down off the floor, for moving into squats with different range of motion, as well as for some regular walking and stair climbing and day-to-day movement. If you have questions or experiences you want to share, please do share them in the comments, and take really good care.